FIFA President Gianni Infantino made news today while attending Iran's friendly against Costa Rica in Turkey, reiterating that Iran is expected to play at the 2026 World Cup despite the ongoing military conflict with tournament co-host the United States. Speaking to the French news agency AFP, Infantino said, quote, "Iran will be at the World Cup. That's what we're here for. The matches will be where they are supposed to be, according to the draw," end quote. Iran is currently scheduled to play 2 group stage matches in Inglewood, California, and 1 in Seattle. Now, to help make sense of all the latest developments in the ongoing saga surrounding Iran's participation, we're joined now by CBS Sports soccer reporter Pardeep Cattry. Ian Joy and Stefano Fusaro here with you. Pardeep, what are your initial thoughts to this decision from Gianni Infantino, and do you have anything to add from your reporting based on this story?
Sure. Thank you for having me. It is not the first time Infantino or FIFA even said that the tournament will go on as scheduled, but truthfully, it only adds to the long list of questions that have yet to really be concretely answered in the month or change since the war began in Iran.
Pardeep, we've got to get into this, obviously, from an Iran perspective with FIFA. We saw Infantino in the stands enjoying the game. But what have you heard latest from FIFA? What have you heard from them directly?
Sure. As it pertains to Infantino's presence at Iran's game today, they're pointing again to the statement he gave to AFP. They are also pointing to Infantino's own Instagram post earlier today, maintaining that stance that the World Cup will happen as scheduled. But there is no real word on how Iran feels about all of this. Again, they're the ones that a few weeks ago said that they're trying to move their games to Mexico, even though they have their World Cup games currently scheduled for the United States. It seems that the two parties, at least from where they are publicly, aren't quite in agreement on what's going to happen. But as it pertains to that move to Mexico, my sources indicated it would be quite unlikely for FIFA to move their group stage games for basically every logistical reason you could think of, including the fact that the tournament footprint leaves Mexico and Canada quite early on, and eventually most of the games, all of the games actually will move to the United States.
We remind everyone that Gianni Infantino did have a statement just a couple of days ago where he said, quote, "There is no plan B, C, or D. There is only plan A. FIFA cannot resolve geopolitical conflicts. We are a sports organization. However, we use the power of soccer to build bridges. Our thoughts are with everyone suffering from these wars, but we expect all teams to compete in the spirit of fair play and mutual respect according to the set itinerary." So that's Gianni Infantino, FIFA, obviously from a couple of days ago. It seems like we still do need kind of confirmation of this from Iran's Football Federation, maybe their government as well. But if we try to look forward here, and they do end up coming to the United States to play the games as scheduled, what can be done about security? Are you hearing anything about the potential security around the Iranian national team as they come to the United States, obviously with the growing tension between the two nations?
That is truly the biggest uncertainty right now. Again, we're kind of in like statement back and forth between all of the parties involved. You have a few weeks ago, Gianni Infantino saying he has assurances from the United States government that Iran will be safe if they come to the United States to participate in the World Cup. Then in a matter of hours or days, you have the United States President Donald Trump saying Iran can't come for their own safety, and then backtracking those comments hours later with no real specifics. I've reached out to FIFA about the specifics. I haven't heard back from them yet. The Iran Federation, again, has not confirmed that they've received any assurances. So that is truly the biggest question mark. And again, it adds to this layer of confusion and I think distress for a lot of people as they think about the World Cup coming ahead, because security for a participating team is paramount to everything about that tournament being staged.
Pardeep, Infantino's already come out and said that he will do anything in his power to guarantee the safety and make sure that they can protect the Iranian national team best they possibly can. We've obviously heard from the President of the United States of America saying that the Iran national team is welcome in the country, but he cannot guarantee their safety. So my question to you would be, we have this news, we have this information. What do you expect to happen next? Do you think this is the end of the story, that Iran will compete at the World Cup, or is this an ever-changing story?
Oh my gosh. I feel like it is an ever-changing story, truthfully. It is hard to know which way this one will go. I mean, I think we've been at a détente for like the last month or so. Everybody has made their position quite clear. But like I said, FIFA it keeps saying this tournament is going to go as scheduled it. Iran have expressed their concerns, but nobody, it seems like we haven't found a conclusion yet. We haven't found a resolution yet. And it's hard to know exactly where any of this will go because, as I'm sure everybody watching this knows, this is a very unprecedented situation. Nobody's actually withdrawn from a World Cup or even really been in that kind of conversation since 1950.
CBS Sports soccer reporter Pardeep Cattry joining us to give some kind of understanding here of the situation with Iran and whether they will be in the United States for the 2026 World Cup. Thank you so much, Pardeep.
Thank you.
We keep the conversation going here with Ian. Ian, as a footballer,
yes,
with everything going on, how do you control the emotions? How do you play football if they are indeed arriving at the United States with everything going on and the conflict that is going on back in their home country? How do, as a footballer, focus in and have to go out and perform on the biggest stage in your footballing career?
Yeah, it's a very controversial situation that's happening with Iran and their national team right now. If I put myself into the shoes of those football players, obviously being one of the earliest ones to qualify for the World Cup, expectations within their nation would have been high for their supporters. Let's not forget that football does bring joy, and sometimes it can bring communities and countries together as well. So it does have a big political say. But players, individuals, as humans, it's very difficult to be able to focus when you know that there's a problem back home or in and around your country. So I can't even begin to imagine what is going through these players, what's going through the coaches. I can't even begin to imagine what's going through the supporters of Iran right now, trying to prepare and have some sort of joy looking ahead to a World Cup when you're worried about what's happening back home. It's indescribable what's going through the players' minds right now. I've played with a number of Iranian players, some big names as well, and I really would love to just get into their brain, try to understand. How do you focus? How do you pay attention? How do you try to concentrate on winning? At the end of the day, it's just a game. That's what we must always concentrate on. So trying to guarantee people's safety, human safety, is of utmost importance here over everything else because it is just a game. So I would be thinking first and foremost as a player about my family and where I'm going to before eventually trying to return home. So at the end of the day, we've got to make sure that we protect the players' safety first and foremost. And that's what Infantino needs to be very careful of. These are big statements he's making right now.
Yes.
But he doesn't quite understand exactly how this is going to play out. So I'm intrigued to see how it's going to play out myself, because obviously I first and foremost want to protect human beings across the world.
Without a doubt. And he's not in control of the situation, Gianni Infantino. This is clearly something that's geopolitical and above that for him, for sure. And look, for Iran, for the players, you feel for them because they qualified to this World Cup on their own merit. And they were one of the first teams to qualify. They're scheduled to open the World Cup June 15th against New Zealand in Inglewood, California. So we'll have to see if that indeed does go through as Gianni Infantino did say, but it'll be interesting to see how this story continues to evolve because I think we still have some more hurdles to climb before we eventually find out how this is going to conclude.